Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, y'all, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So the first one on our list today is AMD. We closed at 164.67. We have made a pre-market high this far of 220, so we are definitely gapping up almost $50 today. So it must have received some type of news. And yeah, so if you're trading AMD, I'm saying just trade carefully today. Let's go back and mark some levels here. It looks as if price stopped here in this area, so I'm going to mark this coming back to the downside, that 208.36 area. And I'm also going to mark this area here of 204.88. Those are places I need to watch back to the downside. And the 196.56, that's another area I need to watch to the downside. Keep in mind, what goes up eventually comes down. Does that mean it's going to happen today? It does not. It just means that we're creating a gap to the upside, and we could very well come back and fill that gap back to the downside. Keep in mind, we closed at 164.67, pre-market high thus far, 221.46. So we have an ATR trail and stop forming at 201.87. So that's right where our 5 EMA is as of now. Back to the downside, we could very well find support there. Again, if we lose this level 196.64, there's another level here forming around the 190, 150. That could be a support area for us back to the downside. Let's say that, right? So that 190, 150, and breaking that, we could very well come back to 187.38. And there's a lot of layers of support here. So we're going to come back to AMD. Just know that we have a big gap up today, and that's very interesting, right? So let's go look at Meta just to see where we are. We closed at 710.56, right? So as you see here, we found support here at this level, 711.27, and it looks like we're breaking under that now. So the next level of support will be here at 710.18. Low here at 709.86. It will be the next level of support. Now, price did stop us here at this 710.31 area, so losing that again, we can come back to the 709.86. So let's look to the downside for Meta. I'm going to see if I can make this. There we are. So back to the downside for Meta, under the 709.86, we can come back to 708.77, 708.27, and breaking that level, we could very well come back to 706.90, breaking that 706.48, and should we break that 705.50, breaking that level 704.83, and should we break that 704.13, breaking that level for Meta today 703.51. Those are areas to the downside. Now let's look back to the upside. We will need to clear all of this area here. So let's say we get back above this area, which is around the 712.03. We could possibly have trouble 712.86, and breaking that level 714.83 up to the 715.58, because there's a few layers of resistance there. But we see that ATR trailing stop is forming right there at that 715.70 area. So breaking that 50 EMA is there also. So if you're trading Meta today, these are possible areas that we could possibly get rejected, or come back down and find some support. I said often, y'all, trade carefully. So breaking that 715.87 for Meta today, we could possibly have trouble again. 717.04, that could be a rejection area, or the 717.79. Looks like we're coming down here. Yeah, so if you're trading Meta, I said often, y'all, trade carefully, mark your levels. Once it goes against your why or your reason for getting in the trade, get out. We are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 187.62. Looks like we came up to a rejection area. Y'all see that level 190.02. We have that marked, only to come back down to a low of where we have marked 182.88. Looks like we bounced from there, only to have trouble at another place, y'all. We knew we could possibly have trouble. It's simple support and resistance, in my opinion, right? So where are the trouble places for NVIDIA as of right now, where we need to get back above this area here of 186.85? That is where our 200 EMA is as of now. We would need to get back above that, breaking that level 187.37. We have a few layers of resistance here. The ATR trailing stop, the 20 EMA and the 50 EMA is around the 188.01. So we could possibly have trouble in those areas there. So if you're trading NVDA, I would say trade carefully. Above that 188.01, we could possibly have trouble again around, let's see, the 188.43, and should we break that level, 188.92, and breaking that 189.28, should we break that level, we could possibly have trouble 190.02. Yes, 190.02, and breaking the 190.02 area for NVIDIA today, 190.44. Those are possible areas of resistance. Now let's look back to the downside. Seems like that 5 EMA and a level that we have marked here is kind of, holding us, preventing us from moving higher as of now. This candle has not closed, let's say that, right? So back to the downside, if we break under, let's say 185.60, next level is 185.16, breaking that somewhere around the 184.48. Something stopped us here at the 184.28, right? Price came here. So should we break that, the next level, we're going to say 183.92, 183.74, 183.44. All of this is very close, right? Because I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. So breaking that, we could very well come back to 183.05 and breaking that level 182.56, even though something stopped us here at this candle, 182.88. So we're going to say the next level is 182.56. So if you're trading NVIDIA today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice, y'all. So we do have a few inside day candles for today, and Devon DBN being one of those. We have already broken through the trigger pre-market. I like to give, if we break beyond this area, this is a possible target, right? So Devon broke through that 34.92 with a possible target of $35.49. Now to the downside, under $34.37. Downside target for DBN today is $34.19. Let's see how much Devon normally moves per day. $1.14. That is the ATR, or the average true range for that stock. It's interesting that it came up to this 5 EMA and got rejected, right? So that could be interesting for Devon. So if that's something that you trade, I said often, y'all, trade carefully, market levels. Once it goes against the reason that you got into the trade, make sure you get out, right, or have the discipline to get out. So GDX is an inside day candle, and as we see here, it's already reached that level pre-market, right? 77.78 was the target, breaking through that level, and the upside target was 78.39. We've already reached that target. As you can see, the high here is 78.56, and I'm going to mark this level. Why? Because we were trading in this area for a while. Let's see, do I want to put it here or here? Something held us in this zone. I would say that will be a zone for GDX, right? So breaking under this level, we could very well come back to the 77.78, which is kind of where our 50 EMA is. I kind of wanted to point that out. Now let's look to the downside. If by chance we break under this 76.50 for GDX today, downside target is 74.07. And I said often, y'all, these are possible targets, so not financial advice. Now GDX normally moves $2.12 per day. That is the ATR, or the average true range for the stock, and keep in mind that can be in either direction. So GLD is also an inside day candle. And we've already reached that target pre-market. The target was 358.77. We've reached a target high of today of 363.40. I'm going to mark that same kind of like zone as we did for GDX. Why? Because price is kind of been trading in this area here, right? So that will be our support, and this will be our resistance area. Now let's look back to the downside. Say for instance we break back under the 355.75 area. We have a downside target of 351, and I always do that. Let me remove that. So we have a downside target today for GLD at 351.26. I'm going to see how much it normally moves per day, $4.25. And again, that could be in either direction. So if you're trading GLD, it is an inside day candle, and we've already reached that target pre-market. Now, can we get rejected and come back to the downside? We very well can. I say it often, y'all, in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, right? So we are looking at the SPY. We closed at 669.21 after coming off the 672 high here. So as of now, where are the trouble places? And price. Let's see if we can mark this level here. Price gathered here in this area, and again here in this area here. So back to the upside, let's say we're finding support here now at this 671.48. We got rejected at a level 672.51 area. So right now our ATR trailing stop could be a trouble place for us, 672.29, right? So breaking that, we could very well, yes, come back to 672.51 and breaking that 672.68, which is this high here. But it looks like we're having some trouble in this area. We have some sellers here and some sellers here. So we definitely need to be careful if the SPY is something that you trade. So let's say we break under the 671.48, the next level 671.23. Y'all see that is where 20 EMA is now. Breaking that level, the next level 670.66, and should we break that 670.35, breaking that level, I'm going to say somewhere around this area here of 669.86 could possibly be a support area for us. Now should we break that, we could possibly find support again 669.45 and breaking that 669.01, which brings us to this area here. However, breaking that, we could very well come back down to this area 668.58, and should we break that, we can still use that 200 EMA 668.35, not far away, breaking that 667.97, and should we break that 667.27 is possible for the SPY today. I say it often, y'all, trade carefully. This is an interesting market, right? So Tesla does what Tesla does. I say that often. Tesla closed at 429.83. We had a 416 low on Friday, only to bounce back up. So I had that 440.41 area, which is here, as a resistance area. I'm going to make that, turn that back to the blue, or a color that I know I need to watch for Tesla, because it is, in my opinion, a strong support or a strong resistance area. That was that 440.41. Yes. So back to the upside, we will need to clear this level, knowing that that 200 EMA as of now 441.02 could be a rejection area for us. Breaking that for Tesla today 442.29, and should we break that, there's a few layers from here 443.78 up to the 445.02. Those are possible areas of resistance. There's one in between here at 444.35. So let's go back. We have one here at 443.78, 444.35, and 445.02. Breaking that brings us back to around the 447.29. But keep in mind that ATR trailing stop was around that 446.28. So this could be a possible area of resistance for us for Tesla today. Again, not financial advice. Let's look back to the downside. Say, for instance, we break under 437.71. There's a few layers of support, the moving averages, if you use those, right? Now under that 436.19, breaking that level 434.54, and y'all see that ATR trailing stop is right there at the 434.09. Should we break that level for Tesla today, 432.22 could be a support area for us. Breaking that 429.99, and should we break that 428.60 area is an area that I just remember for Tesla as being a strong support area. So breaking that, we can come back to the 428.01, which is not very far away, the 427.26, 426.43, and 425.39, breaking that level 423.25, which brings us back to this area. And should we break that level 422.22, breaking that for Tesla today, we could possibly come back to 420.39. I say it often, y'all, in this market, anything is possible. So it's important that you mark your levels, know your support and your resistance. Where can you possibly have trouble? Where are your trouble places? I say that often, right? So again, this is what I see when I look at the market. There's so many different ways to trade the market, y'all. And what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you, and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure that you have a plan before going into the trade. So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.